every weird law from different countries. There are some incredibly strange laws in the world as a result of the way laws are frequently shaped by the distinct cultures and histories of the communities that make them. These laws can be hilarious or confusing, ranging from oddball local regulations to strange bans. In this exploration, we'll delve into some of the weirdest laws from different countries, uncovering the fascinating stories behind them and what they reveal about societal values and norms. Number 7. Illegal to feed pigeons in Venice, Italy. Due to the serious problems caused by their excessive numbers, feeding pigeons has been outlawed in the charming city of Venice, where the magnificent canals and old buildings provide a gorgeous backdrop. The main reason this ordinance was passed was to address the aesthetic and environmental problems brought about by the vast flocks of pigeons that congregate in well-known tourist locations, especially the area surrounding St. Mark's Square. Not only do these birds' droppings make ugly messes, but they also seriously jeopardize the preservation of Venice's historic buildings, many of which are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Pigeon droppings' acidic composition can erode stonework, necessitating expensive city repairs. Authorities in Venice introduced fines for feeding the birds, which can amount to up to €700, in an effort to address this issue. This rule encourages responsible tourism by pushing tourists to enjoy Venice's beauty without contributing to its deterioration, preserves public cleanliness, and safeguards the city's cultural legacy. The law has brought attention to the delicate interplay between human activity and nature in densely populated urban contexts and spurred discussions about animal rights and urban wildlife management. Number 6. Bubble gum ban in Singapore. One of the most notable instances of a stringent government regulation meant to preserve order and cleanliness in urban areas is Singapore's ban on bubble gum. This regulation was passed in 1992 in reaction to the increasing annoyance of chewing gum waste lying around in public spaces, especially on mass rapid transit and other public transit systems. The problem got worse to the point where the government was spending millions of dollars on cleaning and upkeep of public spaces. To protect Singapore's image for cleanliness, which is frequently cited as one of its unique selling points, the government decided to completely outlaw the sale and import of chewing gum, permitting only prescription-only therapeutic varieties. Violators risk harsh punishments such as fines of up to 200,000 Singapore dollars or up to 3 years in jail. This law is representative of Singapore's overall governing philosophy, which places a higher priority on cleanliness and public order than on individual liberties. The bubblegum ban is still a fascinating case study in urban management, showing how legislation can reflect cultural values surrounding public behavior and sanitation. It has also spurred discussions about personal rights as community duties on a global scale. Number 5. Mules cannot roam unattended in Georgia, USA. Georgia's rule that forbids mules from wandering around unaccompanied may seem strange in the modern era, but it has its roots in the state's rural way of life and agricultural past. Mules were necessary work animals in the past for farming and transportation, therefore letting them roam freely presented serious concerns to both public safety and property on roads where livestock could result in mishaps or injury. In rural areas where agriculture played a major role in daily life, this law highlights the value of responsible animal ownership and reflects community expectations about livestock management. This rule seeks to reduce the risk of unrestrained animals wandering onto roadways or harming neighboring farms by making sure mules are properly confined and cared for by their owners. This rule serves as a reminder that legal frameworks frequently change in tandem with shifting agricultural methods and community norms around animal husbandry, even though it is probably not enforced strictly these days. It emphasizes how ancient customs that were essential to preserving safety and order in rural communities might be reflected in laws. Number 4. No ice cream cones in back pockets on Sundays in Alabama, USA. One interesting illustration of how cultural norms can shape laws over time is the odd rule in Alabama that prohibits people from keeping an ice cream cone in their back pocket on Sundays. This law's precise beginnings are unknown, although it is supposed to have been passed at a time when thievery was a major worry. Specifically, it was feared that people may use ice cream cones as bait to entice horses to steal from their owners or stables. This fanciful rule illustrates how laws can occasionally originate from certain social concerns or habits that are widespread at a given period. It depicts an era when such acts were common enough to require judicial action. Even while citizens frequently chuckle about this rule, which seems out of date and ridiculous, it is actually a funny story about Alabama's legal past and peculiar culture. The fact that such a rule exists illustrates how some laws can become artifacts of bygone societal concerns that have since faded into obscurity, but they also reveal local perspectives on community norms and property rights. Number 3. Drunk cow riding in Scotland. Scotland's rule prohibiting intoxication while operating a steam engine, horse, or cow has its origins in historical worries about accountability and safety in a time when agriculture was a major aspect of daily life. This law, which was passed as a part of the Licensing Act of 1872, was put in place to address public concerns about the risks associated with drunk people handling potentially dangerous machinery or animals, particularly since cows were frequently utilized for work and transportation back then. The legislation places a strong emphasis on the necessity of handling animals responsibly using machinery or uncontrollably handling livestock, while inebriated not only puts those around the drunk person at risk of injury, but also puts others in danger. This regulation is frequently seen as a comical relic that is amusing to modern culture, but it also serves as a crucial reminder of how legal frameworks can change in tandem with shifting societal norms surrounding public safety measures and alcohol consumption. The fact that these laws exist demonstrates how historical circumstances influenced legislation meant to safeguard both people and communities. Number 2. No selling your kids in Florida, USA. The clear ban on selling children in Florida demonstrates the state's dedication to shielding young people from abuse and exploitation, which is an important facet of child welfare laws that have changed considerably over time. Although it should go without saying that it is unlawful to sell children nowadays, these rules were put in place historically because of situations in which children were not treated like people with rights that needed to be protected, but rather like property. In addition to preventing child trafficking, this law makes sure that kids are treated with respect in families and the community at large. The laws pertaining to child welfare in Florida have undergone significant changes over the years, reflecting the heightened public awareness of children's rights since the early 1900s, when child labor was widespread and children frequently lived in substandard conditions with no legal safeguards against exploitation or abuse. This law is a component of larger initiatives to protect vulnerable groups from exploitation and advance their welfare by enacting protective laws tailored to the needs of children, which is essential to guaranteeing their rights are respected in society. Number 1. It's illegal not to smile in Milan, Italy. Milan has an unusual local ordinance that requires both locals and visitors to smile or face possible fines. This ordinance highlights the positive aspects of Italian society and also provides historical context regarding social interactions among residents during earlier times, when it was thought that keeping a positive atmosphere was important for community harmony among diverse populations living together peacefully in bustling cities like Milan, which are home to fashion boutiques that represent some of Italy's most renowned designers like Gucci or Prada, alongside art galleries showcasing world-class talent. Despite being rarely enforced today, this odd law has acquired some symbolic meaning over time. It dates back to the Austro-Hungarian era, when authorities felt that encouraging happy interactions would favorably contribute towards social cohesion among residents from various backgrounds who frequented these vibrant streets filled with life. It invites all visitors to Milan, from those taking in the city's rich history at sites like the Duomo di Milano Cathedral, to interact positively with one another while they are in this energetic, endearing city. This particular feature not only adds an intriguing dimension to Milanese culture, but it also serves as an example of how laws can occasionally represent the goals of society at large rather than rigid rules governing behavior. It welcomes all individuals within its warm and inviting, richly textured fabric, which celebrates life itself. In summary, these odd laws from throughout the globe provide an intriguing look into the historical settings and cultural peculiarities that influence legal systems. Thanks for watching our video, and don't forget to subscribe.